Oh, what a weekend.
Yeah.
We had...
Yeah?
I had Friday off.
Oh, yeah, you did.
And then Memorial Day weekend.
Uh-huh.
4-day weekend. Little R&R. We did Silver Dollar City.
Oh, you went to Silver Dollar City?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Kids rode their first ride.
Yeah, was it the bouncing frogs?
It was the bouncing frogs.
Everybody takes their kids on the bouncing frogs.
So I actually wished that there was another thing right across the way from the bouncing frogs that wasn't as bouncy, that would have been way better for Mom and Dad. Because we had to be on it too, because they're so small.
Right.
But Friday was their birthday.
Uh-huh.
They're a whole year old. One whole year, which is crazy. Saturday we had their birthday party. You were there.
I was there.
There was a potato sack race.
Mm-hmm. I lost.
I was going to say we won't talk about who won.
No.
But you know.
Yeah.
Shaboy.
Yeah. It's a triple jump experience from back in the day.
From way back. But ring toss. Crusher over here.
You know. I don't know. Did I win that? Was that me?
You won that.
Yeah, okay.
That was you.
Yeah. I crushed it. That's what I mean.
You did crush it.
I did.
Yeah, you did. You
I
did.
think I got 15 points.
Yeah. And then Sunday, it rained. Whatever. I smoked a tri-tip. My kids like tri-tip. I never got tri-tip when I was a year old.
I've only had tri-tip a couple times in my life. And
Me
it
too.
wasn't when I was a kid.
A literal couple. We had it last summer for the first time ever. I'd never even heard of the cut of meat. One of my friends is like, hey, I'm going to smoke a tri-tip. Do you want to come over? And I was like, I mean, I guess.
It's
and
basically,
then I ate it, and I was like, this is manna from heaven.
Right. It's basically a piece of meat that if you mess up, you're a moron. Because it's amazing. And then you can make it even more amazing if you do it really well.
Yeah. So it's basically sirloin, but big.
Yeah.
Because that's the area of the cow that it's from.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Thought it was from a triceratops.
Tri-tip.
Didn't Steven Spielberg kill one?
Triceratops.
Yeah. You know. Oh, man. Being a dad's great.
I thought it was from colonials because they wore those 3-tipped hats.
Oh, maybe that's how they killed the animal with the 3-tipped hat.
So that was my weekend. What'd you guys do?
Oh man, this was a good weekend. It was a great weekend. Well, Friday night didn't start off so well. I had mower issues.
Ah, yes.
Saturday went surprisingly well, considering I had mower issues on Friday because I bought a new mower.
New mower.
And we had burgers on the grill that night.
Yeah.
Which was great.
That always ends the day well.
And then Sunday, we went on a hike at Busick.
Nice.
And we got caught in a rainstorm.
Yeah.
And so the kids thought that was amazing.
Nice.
They're like, this is great. We're getting poured on in the middle of the woods. And I'm like, I'm so glad.
Thank you for loving this.
I'm so glad you're liking this
right?
because I like it. I think it's fun.
Right?
So good family spirit there.
Oh man, that is awesome.
So that was awesome. And then we went down to Branson to a place called Stillwater Resort and hung out by a pool and played on the lake and rented Sea-Doos. And I'm really sore from riding a Sea-Doo for like 2 hours.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, not used to that kind of workout.
Stillwater Resort, is that what you called it?
Yep.
So it looked nice enough that in my little view picture that you texted me, like I was like, oh, he's at Whitewater, which staying at a resort and paying for a family of 4 to get into Whitewater probably cost about the same.
Yeah. That's expensive.
Plus you got a bed and a place to sleep.
That's right. That's right. And it wasn't that crowded. But one of the pictures that I took, I thought about just like trolling my Instagram and be like, Bora Bora is amazing. Because the angle that I took it at, it looked like it was like tropical. Nope, just kidding. I'm in Branson.
Branson Mo.
Join the fake palm trees.
The world capital of live country music or something like that. I don't remember the claim to fame, but
I don't either.
Branson.
It's a nice place. It's fun.
Yeah.
There's certain parts of it you want to stay out of because it's just weird.
Sure.
Like the shows.
Right. Most of them.
Hey, you know how to make holy water?
No.
Yep.
I think a priest blesses it.
Nope. You boil the hell out of it.
Yeah, you do.
I like that one. My kids are gonna hate it.
Oh, yeah.
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 So, Chaz,
Yes, sir.
we got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
It might be old news for some, but it can be new news for our podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Huawei, we'll talk about them.
Huawei?
Yep. Yes.
Huawei?
Huey. When I say that, it reminds me of the guy off of Home Alone that gets hit when he goes, Haley, Haley. When he's getting electrocuted. You remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. And just some more Apple WWDC type stuff. And then a few other things that's going on with us this week.
Yeah.
Want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Welcome back to Lunchtime Tech Talk, everybody. I'm Chad.
I'm Mike.
Today, we're talking about Huawei and WWDC, the Worldwide Dongle Conference.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to call it.
That's what it is.
From now until forever.
That's what it is.
Trademarked.
You know, they're just going to show off their new dongles. Come and get them. You can get them in all different colors now. Pink, fluorescent yellow.
Ooh, fluorescent yellow. It'd be hard to lose that one.
Mm-hmm. It's limited edition. They don't want everybody to find it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, this Huawei thing. So apparently, Huawei is banned based off of a U.S. trade thing that's been going on with all this governmental stuff.
With China.
Yeah, so Huawei is apparently this gigantic company overseas.
Right.
Like huge. They are like number 2 to Samsung and Apple on top cell phone sellers. And that's not all they do. They're kind of like the Samsung of China, where they sell cell phones, they sell computers. I don't know if they make washing machines like Samsung, but I imagine they do TVs and stuff. But they also put up from what I understand, most of China's cell phone towers.
Oh.
So they're producing a lot of this 5G stuff.
They're making the phone and the tower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's communist over there, right? Isn't that what the country is?
Right.
So they can, the government's like, you control it all. Everything.
Have fun with it.
So yeah, they're doing all kinds of stuff. They're actually supposedly one of the supposedly.
Well, which is it?
It's whatever you want it to be. It's your world. They are supposedly the lead in 5G technology. So they're ahead of the U.S. in that. But the U.S. basically did this U.S. trade ban with China that makes it illegal to do business with particular companies.
Yeah.
And Huawei is now on that list.
Yeah.
Huawei has had this like history with the government in the United States that they didn't want cell phones being sold here, and they didn't want government workers to be using Huawei cell phones because they were afraid of Chinese government spying on them.
Sure.
And I get where they're coming at, because the company, Huawei, has to be deeply integrated with the Chinese government, the way that the Chinese government has all their stuff set up.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a little bit of the government being a little scared of Huawei.
I get it.
So,
China is the leader in facial recognition technology because they force all of their citizens to put their faces in.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that really true?
That's really true. The Economist did an article about it. And so when you are able to force 1 billion people to participate in your activities, then you can jump leaps and bounds. It's kind of like,
I guess that's true.
It's like what we've said with machine learning.
Yeah.
Like, once you get 1 billion entries,
yeah,
then your machines can learn a lot.
Yeah.
And so that's why the technology there is vastly ahead of anyone else.
Yeah.
Because they've just got the data points.
That makes sense. So one of the big things that happened with this whole Huawei ban, like not being able to do business with them, is that the big operating system provider that Huawei used was Google's OS. So they used an Android OS to run their cell phones. Just like Samsung does. They basically use it and then they put their own little face on it and make it what they want. But they're still using the purchased version of the Android operating system.
Yeah.
And now Google says, we're not allowed to sell this to you. So from this date forward, which I believe comes up in June, from that date forward, we can no longer push updates to you and do business with you.
I wonder if there's anything stopping Google from creating a Chinese subsidiary that they then can still sell some version of Android to Huawei.
Well, even if I don't know. See, some people argued that they could use the base version of the Android operating system.
Yeah.
Because it's considered,
almost like open source.
Yes, open source. It slipped my mind. You got it. God, you're such a tech nerd.
I'm on my way.
You are. It's open source, so anybody can use it. But the downfall is that they can't get access to any Google products. So the big benefit of all the Google stuff is that you have Gmail and you have the cloud storage. Yeah, all that stuff, that package that they offer.
Yeah.
And that's not available on the base one. They wouldn't be able to do business on that side of it.
Sure. Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's like when you start banning one of the biggest companies in the world from doing business with you, it's like it could be good for certain companies like Apple.
Sure.
And Samsung, but it could be bad for future business. We don't know. We don't know where this is going to go. And so it's kind of like one of those things like, I don't know of an example of this ever happening in the past. I'm sure it has.
Sure.
But if anybody out there has, is a historian and knows about this type of stuff, I would be interested to know, like, what kind of companies have gone through this before in the past.
And did they survive?
Right.
Because, definitely hit us up if you know anything about that.
There was one company that I had heard that got put on this list. I can't remember the name of it, but it was the same situation. Like, they were using the Android operating system and they basically got told that they couldn't. And essentially that company is not what it was before. Like, they had to change their whole business plan.
Gosh.
But Huawei is so big, and from what I heard, they were already in the works of like making their own operating system. And really, if they want to, the way that it's all set up, they could probably just force a lot of people to use that.
Right.
But now the Huawei CEO did say, he said he is upset about the ban, but he does not want China to discipline Apple.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Which is interesting because he looks at Apple as somebody who is teaching him different ways of doing technology.
Yeah.
So you found something funny the other day about Huawei.
Yeah. It was just someone, I think it was the Prime Minister, or no. Who was it? Some Chinese government official had basically taken the Apple logo with an actual apple and then sliced it up and kind of fanned it out. And when an apple is sliced up and fanned out, it looks just like the Huawei logo.
It's hilarious.
And so it was sort of a dig at Apple, obviously.
So what is the logo? Is it a peacock?
It sort of looks like a peacock.
Or is it an apple?
Yes. I don't even know. It's just...
It kind of looks like is it the NBC logo?
It sort of looks like the NBC logo. It looks like maybe a sun breaking over a mountain.
Oh, that's a good one. I never know. Yeah, the rays.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's open for interpretation what the Huawei logo actually is. Do you know what I think is cool? We're 14. This is episode 14.
Episode 14. Gosh.
we started our first episode of the podcast talking about foldable phones, and just as like a sidebar, I'm like, hey, I found this other Huawei. They've got foldy phones too.
Yeah.
And now Huawei's like in the news.
It's like you didn't ever hear about them.
I thought that I had found some little company that is also doing some neat things.
Yeah.
And it's the second largest cell phone manufacturer in the world, and they make all of the not broadband, but all of the telecom stuff for China. That's who I found.
That's how like in the bubble we are.
Right. We're
like
so
you
American.
You feel like you're so connected. And I'm sure this is just everywhere. I'm sure if you went over to like England or whatever, like there's just certain things that you use, and then there's all these other brands.
Right.
Like apparently, what is it? Is it Alibaba? Isn't that like an eBay style type thing over in India? And it's like
Alibaba had them 40 thieves. Sorry, that's Aladdin.
But then I think that's the website, but it's like bigger than eBay. But you think eBay and you think, wow, this is probably the biggest thing where they buy and sell.
Yeah.
Like garage sale online type thing.
It has to be the biggest thing ever,
but
because it's
not.
American.
Yeah. So I think we're just in that bubble. And it's just so funny that there's these giant companies out there that are bigger than Apple. And yet Apple is like one of the biggest companies here in the US. And it's like supposedly just gigantic all over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was something. So I learned recently that like most of Europe uses and prefers Android phones.
Really?
I just assumed that everybody loved Apple as much as we do. Weird.
I don't think they do. I read something the other day that the iPhone is starting to really struggle in China. And I would imagine it's probably because people are ticked off about this whole trade ban thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
If you as a country, or as a citizen in a country, if you view this as like a slight to your country, then I could see you being like, well, screw you, Apple.
Well, yeah, it's like if somebody banned us, America, like we just think of this as like, oh, come on, China, get over yourself.
Right. Yeah,
but
we're
if they did it to us, we'd be like, hell no, this is America.
Right.
You don't ban us.
We ban ourselves. What? No.
You can't ban me. We ban ourselves.
We ban ourselves. You can't fire me. I quit. But if I fire you, you get a severance package. I don't care.
I don't care.
I quit.
Get out of here. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how we can look at this. But it'll just be interesting to see how this turns out. I'm sure they'll work out some deal. I don't know. Maybe they won't. I just hope it doesn't get too crazy, you know? Because, I mean, things can go sideways when people get ticked off with missiles. So...
yeah.
That's where
I don't want anyone to get ticked off with missiles.
No,
We're in the middle of the country, but I still don't feel safe when people start talking about missiles.
Missiles can go a long way.
They can go anywhere.
Yeah.
They can just do whatever they want.
So, yeah, that was the Huawei thing. I thought that was kind of an interesting type deal. I don't recall ever seeing something like that in my lifetime. That seemed to be kind of like that.
Yeah, I definitely don't remember anything like that since I've become business aware and started paying attention to stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably what.
I didn't catch.
Siri. She listened to you even though you didn't say her name.
I didn't say anything. You silly girl.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, WWDC's coming up next week.
Yep.
On June 3rd. It's already here.
That's Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Whoa.
There's going to be, like we said last week, iOS 13. We're going to see some new stuff on that. That's going to be a pretty big update. watchOS 6, that's going to be exciting. tvOS 13 might not be as exciting, but, you know, anything they add to that's pretty cool. I use Apple TV. I really enjoy them.
I saw that the new iPod Touch comes with an A10 Fusion.
Yeah, iPod Touch. What a weird thing. They just keep updating that every so many years.
Yeah. They're not as expensive as I thought.
No, what are they, $200?
Yeah, they're not bad.
Yeah, they're not too bad.
I can't remember what episode it was that we talked about them, but after we talked about them, I went and Googled them. They're hard to find, like in a store.
Oh, I bet. Because why would you hang on to them?
Why would you carry
them? I
them?
don't sell that many.
You wouldn't think, but
I feel like Apple's hanging on to those for 2 reasons. Well, 3 reasons. Entry level into an Apple product, right? Mm-hmm. You've got kids that can use them, and they can basically treat them almost as a phone. Yeah,
if you get the right apps.
And I don't remember what the 3rd reason was, but it was so important I forgot it.
Reasons.
Yes. So yeah. Developers. So developers can use these. A cheap way to get into it if they don't have like an extra iPhone or whatever. You can make sure your app is running properly on that screen size and whatnot.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's neat that they're updating it. It's not a product I will ever be interested in again, just because my situation, even though I've got kids, is I have old phones that I just hang on to and just pass down to them.
Yeah.
So, not a super big deal with the iPad, but they are supposedly going to be, they might be coming out with a new big Apple Pro display for like your desktop.
Oh.
So they haven't made one in years. The people who are like pros that use the iMacs, or not the iMacs, but the wow, I just drew a complete blank. The big powerful desktop version that they've got, or the Mac Minis, can run these. And supposedly they're going to come out with a new powerful desktop thing. I just can't name it for the life of me. God, I am just... Long weekend.
iMac?
No, iMac is not it. That's the one that has the built-in screen.
Do they have...
Mac Pro? Is that right? Chad, don't you know this? Anyways.
I have a Samsung laptop from at least 13 years ago, so no.
That's fine.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, well. Wow.
Huawei.
Huawei. God. Supposedly, this is something that actually did come out. They came out with new MacBook Pros, and basically those are just updated with faster processors and a new keyboard, because they've had all this keyboard drama for 3 years. They sell these super expensive MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs and MacBooks, and they put a crappy keyboard on it that breaks all the time.
Huh.
And this
your
version...
laptop's pretty useless once your keyboard breaks.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are finding out. There's actually a lady who wrote an article that you could hit a toggle button on the article online, and it would take out all of the I's and the E's, I think, because that's what was broken on her keyboard. So you could see what it would look like. It's like that was really good. And what's really good about that article is when she did that, Apple kind of revamped their warranty service on it.
Oh yeah.
And then they just basically, this new keyboard is the same keyboard but with new materials in it.
My gosh, every word has either an I or an E in it.
Yeah. It's the ones that you hit a lot that wind up breaking.
Sure.
So, but yeah, that's kind of the new stuff with the Apple. That next week could be kind of interesting.
So WWDC is like a week-long deal, and this is a real conference that people go to and hang out and learn stuff.
Yeah, the most important part for the general public or people who are of interest in like what's coming out is the first day.
Okay.
So June 3rd will be the day that they do like the keynote presentation. But then all the other days after that, they have like classes that people can attend, and you can attend some of them like through an Apple TV if you've signed up. I think is what you have to do. I don't know if you have to sign up or not, but
I did see. I think it was one day last week, but somebody tweeted out, which grains of salt abound when we talk about, hey, this has been confirmed.
No, yeah.
Until you actually watch the keynote, you don't know what's confirmed.
Right, exactly.
But it's confirmed. Black mode or dark mode.
Yeah. That's that's the big thing, and I'm just really interested in the general, like, UI enhancements, because there are a few things that drive me bananas about the iPhone, and it's like, all these years, why haven't you fixed it? So really, since the last time that they did a really big UI update was about six years ago, I believe, with iOS 7. That was the last time they did a true revamp of everything.
Okay.
And that's supposedly what's going to happen with this, where like all of it's going to be updated and enhanced.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. Rumors. Have no idea. June 3rd, we will know, though.
Yes.
So, but we've got something going on this weekend, don't we?
We do.
Yep. What are we doing?
We are taking a half day on Friday.
Boom.
We are road tripping down to northwest central Arkansas.
Sounds good.
We're going to tent camp.
Boom.
We're going to wake up the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to run 15 and a half miles in the woods.
Just like animals.
Because why not?
Why not? It's humid.
It's humid. It's hot.
It's hot.
The temps have been consistently above 85 for the last week. Even on the days that it rains, it climbs above 85 later that day.
This is going to be so hot.
I have ran one time in the last 4 weeks.
It's okay. This is fine.
Because I went to Two Rivers and I did a 10-mile run with my buddy Mike here. And I was like, man, this is awesome. I guess I'll just take the next 4 weeks off.
Taper.
I have no idea what happened. I just stopped running.
I think what happened, Chad, is what happens to a lot of us in our 30s with families. Life moves so fast, and the next thing you know, 4 weeks is gone.
Yeah.
That's literally what happens. If I don't, you were doing really, really good with your plan. Like, you had this plan.
I was.
You had it laid out. You're like, I'm running this day, this day, this day. I'm going to run this many miles. On the weekends, I'm going to do this.
You guys can't see me, but I'm turning in my notebook to this.
And then the plan, like...
And then it falls apart.
Well, so, okay, I'm looking at his calendar here, and it basically starts on March 24th, and it runs all the way to June 1st, which is when the run is.
Yeah.
I see all of these entries for stuff that you have ran.
Yeah.
So were these entries put in after you ran?
Yep.
Okay, so it wasn't put in before. I was like, well, I see what the problem was. You didn't fill out the bottom half of the calendar.
No, and then the numbers underneath were my per mile times.
Oh, okay.
Right?
It's pretty cool.
Look at these trail runs. 1240, 1227, 1203, 1208.
Yeah.
Like that's a good progression.
You still have it though.
And then I'm gonna finish, but it is not gonna be anywhere near respectable.
I can just tell you.
And I'm not gonna be able to walk after.
Well, that's okay because they provide wheelchairs.
Sweet.
No, they don't. So where we're going is down in Arkansas.
Where are we going?
And it is, I think, near Rogers.
It's pretty close.
The trail is Hobbs.
Hobbs National Park?
Yeah, I think
Hobbs
that's
State Park.
Hobbs something.
It's a public area.
Hobbity Hobbs.
And it's spelled like Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah. Oh, maybe he's there. Yeah.
Which one was Calvin and which one was Hobbes? Was Hobbes the tiger?
You know,
I don't know either.
I have no idea. I never really watched that or read that comic. Wasn't that. I was more into Garfield.
Ah.
So yeah, it's the run that we're doing is down in Hobbs State or National Park, whatever it's called. It's probably a state park, and it's called War Eagle. And they typically put on a 25K and a 50K. We're gonna run the 25K. Our friend Derek is gonna run the 50K because he's an animal. But they also have a 10K this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of neat that they offer that. Makes me want to switch to the 10K.
Right.
But nah, we'll be fine. It'll be fun. It's gonna be hot and it's gonna be hilly and it's gonna be just a good time.
Yeah, confirmed. State park.
So, if you're listening to this
Yeah.
and you're going to be there,
Yeah.
and you see somebody named Chad and somebody named Mike, ask them if you have a podcast.
Yeah.
And we can tell you yes
That would
or no.
be so awesome. If
It would be cool.
Because this is going to come out Thursday morning.
Yep.
People have, a day and a half to 2 days to listen to it. Wouldn't that be crazy if someone was just like, hey, I recognize you from your website.
That would be so cool.
I like what you guys do.
I recognize
That's
you from
crazy.
your website.
That's what my stepmom did this
I
weekend.
know. It's like, whoa, you saw us on our website?
Yeah.
We're so famous.
So
We're famous.
so something. Hey, so I'm seeing for Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, this is local. I didn't actually go to the place where we're gonna be.
Oh, that's fine, because that's not important, right?
Yeah.
Weather and location's not important.
81, mostly cloudy. That'd be nice.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
So, anyway.
But yeah, that's what we're going to do this weekend. So that's going to be pretty cool. You may or may not hear from us next week, depending on if we survive it. You may not be thankful of that. I'm not sure. Hopefully, you will miss us. But no, seriously, we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
But Crazy Tech, do you got one?
I do have one.
Okay.
I don't think you're ready for this, techie. I don't think you're ready for this, techie. I don't think you're ready for this. This podcast too techalicious for you, babe.
Yes. Now that is Fergie, right?
No,
Isn't it Fergalicious?
no.
Oh my gosh.
It's bootylicious.
Oh, wow.
Who is it?
Bootylicious.
On the spot.
I don't know.
This is our second entry from the queen herself, Beyonce.
Oh, whoa. How did I miss
I
that?
don't know.
I'm terrible.
It's because I sing it down here. I don't think you're ready for this jelly.
Yeah, that was probably better. That was probably spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Spotalicious.
Yeah. If Beyonce heard that, she would charge you
Right?
for her voice.
For stealing her,
Beat.
I don't know, identity or something.
So Crazy Tech. Let's get back on track here. I've got my Crazy Tech. I will go first.
Okay.
My Crazy Tech is my lawnmower. We talk about mowers a lot on this podcast.
Do.
But I love mowers, and that's fine.
It is fine.
And I hope our listeners love mowers as much as I do. So I have a little bit of land, as you guys probably know, because we've talked about it. And I have a zero turn, and I have a pull behind mower, which allows me to cut a wide swath of grass.
Yes.
Well, I kind of got a little tired of doing that combo. So, and my zero turn it's slow for the amount of land that I have. If you put this zero turn on 2 acres or less.
Sorry. I'm just done.
Yeah. If you put my old zero turn on 2 acres or less, it's gonna be quick. My dad has a similar mower to this, the one that I have been using, and he's got it on. It's almost a half acre, but he's got a house on it, so you don't mow a half acre, right?
Right.
A little bit over, probably more than a fourth, whatever that math is, a third of an acre.
Mm-hmm.
That'd probably be good. And you can mow his yard super fast.
It's just like 3 swaths and you're done.
Yeah,
right?
it's super fast. But when you're mowing like 7 acres,
Yeah.
it takes like 3 hours plus.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get something a little faster. So I picked up, which I'm really excited about, a Ferris.
A
And
Ferris.
if anybody knows about Ferris,
Bueller's Day Off?
yes, and the wheel, which
And the
cracked me
wheel.
up. Sent Chad a picture of my mower, and it said Ferris on the back, and he circled the wheel and sent it back to me and said,
This is a
Ferris wheel.
Technically, this is a Ferris wheel.
I was like, oh man, you are spot on the dad jokes today. It's hilarious. And guess what? My kids rolled their eyes. My wife thought it was funny.
Thank you.
Yeah. She knows. Respect.
Respect
the dad joke.
Right.
So no, it's a Ferris. They're notorious for suspension. So the whole mower has 4-wheel independent suspension.
Whoa.
So I can go over the rough terrain and it'll feel super smooth.
And it's just like,
yeah, and it's amazing how smooth it is. And I don't even have it dialed in yet, because you can dial it in based off of your weight.
Like a mountain bike?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's coilover shocks, so you just adjust them, and it's got multiple settings, and so all I need to do is like adjust them, ride it around, feel it, and if I like it, or if it's too soft, too rough, then I can change it and then dial it in there. But it's the ISX 800, which is brand new this year. I was super excited whenever I read about this, because I had no idea that they were even making this model, because I looked at mowers last year and this model wasn't around. Well, this one just came out this year, and it's a 61-inch, and it goes as fast as lightning.
And this was a clear gap, like
$4,000 between the one below it that I was looking at and the one above it that I was looking at.
Not just the dollar range gap, though. Like the from the one to the other is, why would I even get this lower one if I'm going to be sitting on it for 2 to 3 hours a week?
The one that was below the one that I got was an IS 700, and it's been around for years. It's a really good mower, but it was more designed for like residential and probably properties that are like 3 acres and less.
And probably well manicured, smooth.
Smoother, yes.
Yeah. Like there was a clear hole in their model range.
Yeah, because the next
it just jumped from
high-end
residential to low-end commercial.
Yes.
But there was a gap.
There was a gap.
This mower perfectly fills in that hole.
It fits it perfect, because this one has like a 5-gallon tank, or 5.5. The one above it has an 11-gallon tank. 11 gallons would take me like 4 mows to go through.
But if you were mowing commercially all day long,
need
that's perfect.
Yeah. So I didn't need the 11-gallon. 5.5 gallon is perfect.
Right.
But I wanted the independent suspension, which the one below mine didn't have. The one above it did.
Right.
This one has that.
Right.
So.
And if you're mowing for an hour a day, once a week, you probably don't need the independent suspension.
No.
If you don't mind my saying a little of your medical history,
Mm-hmm.
Mike over here has fused vertebrae in his back.
Compressed.
Yeah. Sorry. So not great for him to sit on a mower for 3 hours at a time. Anyway, probably.
Yeah, no.
But it's not just I'm fancy and I need my ride to be soft. Like, he's got a medical reason for wanting this.
I do stick my pinky out when I'm mowing, because I feel fancy. Good day, Lon.
Good day.
Shall we have a mow?
Top of the morning to you, Lon.
Ah, so smooth.
Cheerio.
Sorry.
So it's not, there's a lot of stuff that we geek out about and fall in love with just because that's awesome and I want it. But this suspension is not really one of those things.
Right.
It's
if you're mowing,
if you're going to be the one mowing your yard, you need it.
Yeah, I think so. Also, if you're looking for a mower that's like high dollar, like almost a commercial mower, it's like hard to not buy a Ferris, in my opinion, because I've looked at every brand out there. I'm obsessed about them. I've watched YouTube videos of reviews, and everybody's got their brand, right?
Right.
But when I go back to it, I'm like, why would I buy a mower that costs just as much, if not a little bit more, without full suspension, whenever I can buy a Ferris that has the suspension built into it, and it still has that quality that everybody expects?
Right.
Like, I can understand if like Ferris was like getting bad ratings, like, oh, they break all the time, but they got suspension. It's like, well, then that's not worth it. But everybody that is reviewing them is like, the quality is there. It's like just as good as all these other high-end brands.
Right.
So I'm super pumped about it. I mowed for the first time last night with it, and I felt like I was like on like a race car.
That's awesome.
Super fast. My wife came out and she just like watched me, and she's like, oh, I was just watching you mow. And I was like, she's like, it looks like you're having a pretty good time.
There is nothing better than you've researched this thing
Yeah.
forever,
Yeah.
right? And you finally decide, okay, I'm going to do it, and you get it home, and you're excited, and it lives up to
Yeah.
the excitement.
Oh, yes.
There's nothing better than that, because I've done that before where you've geeked out, and in your case with this mower, over a year, over 2 years,
2 years.
probably.
Yeah, 2 years
Yeah.
at least.
And I've done that where you obsess about something for way too long, and then you get it, and you're just like, oh,
That wasn't what I thought. Yeah.
shoot.
No, not this.
Not
First
this.
mow, I'm like super excited, and I also have a suspension that I can put underneath my seat that came off my other
From
mower.
your last mower.
So I'm going to do that. So it's going to be even more of a smooth ride.
Dude,
I'm going to fall asleep on
I'm
this
gonna start
thing.
calling you Astronaut Mike, because you're just gonna be in zero gravity while you're mowing.
Good day.
Your pinky out.
Good day. Mowing the lawn here.
I'm so fancy.
Yes.
You already know.
Yeah, that's the only song I listen to
Right.
the whole time.
Just on repeat.
So yeah, that's my little crazy tech. It just amazes me. Like, it amazes me, like, the quality and the manufacturing that these things have. I mean, they can take a beating and just keep going.
Oh, right.
Like my last zero turn is still in great shape, but and I have almost 200 hours on it, and
That's a
it's
lot
like,
of
how is it not broken? It's been such a good mower. So these commercial grade ones that are even tougher and built with more metal and
right.
bigger parts and bigger motors and all this stuff, it's like, it's just cool. It's awesome. Awesome tech. But I'm a nerd when it comes to lawnmowers. I watch people on YouTube riding around on a lawnmower.
Yep.
It's like
Yep.
fixing their yard.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's a guy thing, or maybe it's just
It's lawnmowers, whatever, might be a guy thing, but the way that you geek out and research something, it's the way that I do too. And you're the only other person that I've met that does that.
So you're saying there's something wrong with us?
No, I'm saying
We are
that
messed up.
We've found a connection point between the two of us.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just that people don't like to admit that they geek out on stuff, but like
I feel like it's the right way to do it, right?
it's the only way to do it.
Like, you
if
need
you're
to
going to
research.
spend a lot of money on something, or even if you're not going to spend a lot of money, but if you're going to spend a lot of time with a product, you need to know what you're getting. If you're going to spend a lot of money on something, or you're going to spend a lot of time with something, you've got to research it ahead of time. You just have to.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to perform the way that you're expecting whatever it is you're about to buy to perform.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not going to do that, you need to know that it's not going in, so
Right.
that you're not disappointed on the back end.
Right.
And then you've made an educated decision on, yes, it's not going to do this one thing, or it's going to do the thing, but it's not going to do it the way I thought it would. And I know that, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Because I've been in that situation where I didn't do quite as much research, and I went in with the hype,
Yep.
and I was like, wow, I just got totally marketed to.
For sure.
It is not anything what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've never really done it on something super expensive, but I've definitely been like, go to the store and want to buy something very specific that I've looked at, and then you get there and there's something else, and they're like, hey, this is a little bit better, and it's like, are you sure? Or
Right.
they're getting the commission on it,
Right. or their commission on that's 15%, and it's 12 on this other thing.
Yeah.
So they can be close in price, but I make more money.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of, I think I'm going to change my crazy tech.
Okay.
Just talking about going in on the hype of something.
Mm-hmm.
So we had my kid's birthday party over the weekend.
Yep.
Right? And we did a carnival theme. So hot dogs, nachos, popcorn,
Mm-hmm.
red and white everywhere.
Yeah.
You saw it.
I did.
Carnival games.
Played some games.
It was a blast,
It was
right?
a good time. I enjoyed it.
So
I won a prize.
you did win a prize.
I forgot to bring it to work.
A little dinosaur.
I did. I won a toy dinosaur. Thank you.
You could have had a bubble wand or some sweet sunglasses. We had all sorts of little, think arcade, turning in 25 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
These are the kinds of prizes we had.
Yeah.
It's a perfect description.
Yeah. Something you'd pay like 75,000 tickets for, he had if you just won the game.
Right.
You only had
We
to
didn't
play
do
one.
tickets.
Yeah.
Anyway, I knew that I had coming up a lot of hot dogs to cook.
Yeah.
And
You did have a lot of hot dogs.
I did have a lot of hot dogs. And so I'm looking at my grill, and it's 4 or 5 years old, and the grate is actually like springy.
It's
because
pretty much,
it's not connected because it's rusted through.
It's pretty much like your lawnmower deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, you put a hot dog on, it might fall through.
It might fall through to the underside where the flames are.
You use stuff until it rusts all the way through.
That is a fact about me.
That is a good thing.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
I am not an unnecessary upgrader. And so I start looking for grill grates.
Okay.
And I'm on Amazon, and I'm on Lowe's.com, and I'm everywhere, right? And I don't know my part number for these grill grates.
Yeah.
So they're a little trickier. So I've just got measurements.
Right.
And I decide, well, I'm going to go cast iron.
Okay.
Because these rusted through.
Mm-hmm.
Cast iron's not going to rust through.
No, it's nicer too.
It's nicer.
Yeah.
It's thicker. You get good grill marks.
Probably holds heat a little bit
Probably
better.
holds heat a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I've decided that that's what I'm going to do. Well, $70 for these grill grates on Amazon.
That's pretty pricey for grates.
That's pretty pricey.
I don't buy grates often,
No.
but when I do,
I don't pay $70.
I don't know if I pay $70.
Well, when the grill is $200 to start with, it's hard to pull the trigger on $70.
Yeah.
And when we get to this end of the story, y'all out there in podcast land are going to go, you're a freaking idiot.
You're crazy.
But I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
So then I stop looking for grates. I start looking for grills.
Right.
Right? And I'm looking at the 150.
Because why pay half
Right.
for just grates when you can get a whole new thing?
Right.
I mean, it makes sense because how long you had that grill?
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. And those burners have been used for 4 or 5 years. And,
Right.
And propane burners don't last forever.
Right. And they haven't crapped out yet, but they won't stay lit at full temp.
So they're getting there.
You have to have them at half temp or lower.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
So you probably needed a new grill.
They were on their way out. So I'm looking at the 150 to 250 range because I'm like, that's what I had before. It's just the two of us really, even,
Mm-hmm.
although my kids started eating table food this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the 4 of us now eating off the grill.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was like, we just need to get something to get through the weekend, which is that's the wrong way to buy things.
Yeah, especially if you run your grill into the ground like you apparently have.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then I start thinking, well, I'm going to buy one of those combo propane on one side, charcoal on the other side with a smoker box.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll do everything.
Right.
$600
Okay.
to $800.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range.
A little bit more expensive.
A little more expensive, but you got all this functionality.
Right.
Well, both grill tops combined were larger than my current grill.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 3-burner. I think it had like 300 cubic inches.
Okay.
Or square inches. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so these were like 500 total, but around 250 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
So I call my buddy, TJ,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, hey, you had one of these. Do you like it?
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I already got rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the smoker is crap because it's not sealed up well.
Right.
And so it doesn't hold temperature, all that kind of stuff. Your smoke seeps out and all that. I never use the propane side because I don't like the way propane tastes.
Okay.
Some people can taste it.
Yeah.
I can't.
I can't either.
And the charcoal side's too small. So I got rid of it. I got just a big Weber kettle grill.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't want to do that. But now I'm kind of back at square one.
Yeah.
So I text Mike
Mm-hmm.
and I say, hey, what is your grill? Would you buy it again? Do you still love it?
Yeah.
And you tell me.
I say, I do love it. I have a big green egg, and I've had it forever.
Since 05.
Since 2005, and it still seemed, well, I said it was like in perfect condition.
Until
I saw a brand new one, and I'm like, your egg is so much shinier. Like, the functionality of it is perfect. All my stuff is working really, really well. I don't have any issues with the hinges or any of that stuff. The egg is a little bit, you can tell it's a little bit aged. The green is not as vivid.
Sure.
But it's still in perfect condition, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's, how old? That's almost 15 years old.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, depending on when in 05. Yeah. It's close to 15 years old.
May-ish.
Your green egg can almost drive.
Yeah, I can almost
drive with a permit, probably.
That'll be good because I'll send it to go get its own steaks.
So anyway, I bought a green egg last week.
Yeah.
And...
So let me get this straight. You were going to spend
$70 on grill grates.
And then you texted me, and you spent a lot more.
You're skipping a lot of steps, but yes, that's what happened.
I feel like I'm to blame.
No.
I'm not going to help you pay for this.
Do you want to know what's to blame? 0% financing is what's to blame.
Well, you know what? Here's the deal.
12 months, same as cash.
If you take care of this thing, Chad.
Exactly.
Which you will, because you've got a covered patio, which helps a lot.
Yes.
If you take care of it, this could be the last grill that you ever buy. I know that's kind of a stupid thing to say because everybody's like, oh, this is my final home, or this is my last of this, is my last of that. But I have no desire to buy a different grill.
Right.
Because this one just works. Like, the only reason why anybody ever upgrades their grill is because something goes wrong with it.
Right.
And 15 years in, my grates haven't rusted through. So obviously,
stainless steel.
Obviously, something that the egg has is like good materials.
Right.
So 15 years later, I have never replaced a single part on that grill.
Even the felt gaskets.
I haven't done the gaskets.
Nice.
Now other people have because they fuse the grill together.
Right.
But yeah, no, I haven't. I probably should, but I don't use mine a ton. I probably use it maybe 2-3 times a month during the nice weather, but I know others that use them a lot more.
So I'm the crazy tech part of this.
Okay.
It's a charcoal grill.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing crazy about cooking with charcoal.
Yeah.
They say that their design is better than anyone else's, and maybe it is and maybe it isn't.
Right.
There's a bunch of Kamado style grills out there.
Yeah.
So pick whatever you want.
Exactly.
The crazy part, so we've got this party at noon. And I have to run get balloons, cake. I have to pick up popcorn from the movie theater. I've got all of these errands that I've got to run.
You're all over the place.
The morning of the party.
Yeah.
So, the Big Green Egg is designed to cook for 18 to 20 hours if you need it to on one load of charcoal.
Which is
insane.
Crazy.
That's a crazy statement to throw out there and try to stand behind.
Because you try to do that on a standard charcoal grill, and it's like you might get 2 hours.
A few hours.
Yeah.
3 maybe.
Yeah. Without having to put new
But
charcoal
it's going to have to be a good grill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, it's going to have to be well sealed up and all that kind of stuff. Well, I just decide, okay, at 8:30 in the morning, I'm going to fire up the Green Egg, and I'm going to get my temperature dialed in. And when I leave at 9:30 to go run all my errands, I'm just going to let this thing run while I'm gone.
Yeah.
And then when I get back, I can throw the hot dogs on, and away we go.
Yeah.
Right? So I tell my wife when I'm on my way out the door, because she doesn't know anything about it. I've cooked on it 4 times, and she says 2 things. These are my 2 seals of approval.
Oh, good.
We're going to eat so good this summer.
Yes.
Yes. And 2 days after I made the tri-tip, she comes out in the garage, and she goes, I was just thinking, maybe I should have a bite of tri-tip. Because we had leftovers. And I go, oh yeah? And she goes, best decision I've ever made in my life.
Nice.
Just have a bite of cold leftover meat.
Yeah. It's that good.
It's that good. So anyway, I tell my wife on my way out the door, I need the grill to be at 225 when I get back. Because with the ceramic and the insulation and all that, if you let it get too hot, it's hard to get it back down.
Yeah, it'll stay forever.
Yeah. And so I said I need it to be around 225. So I want you to go out every 15 to 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. Make sure it's not over 250 or under 200, because that's where I want it. An hour and a half later, she calls me and she goes, "It's at like 252." And I was like, "I'm 3 minutes from the house. Thanks for letting me know. Don't even mess with it."
It's at 252. Like,
yeah,
it's like so accurate.
Yeah,
and
it just hung out.
It is so cool that the dampers and stuff that are on it. Once you know, like, you now know what to set the dampers at to hold it at 250.
Yeah.
So you can just basically, like, I'm convinced that Green Egg could probably actually put marks on the dampers and say, here and here will hold at this temperature.
Right.
Because it truly, once you get used to using this thing, you will be able to set this thing at whatever temperature. Hold it at 400, hold it at 800, hold it at 100.
Yeah.
Well, 100. I think it sits at 100, like, without anything in it.
There is a...
I mean, in the summer months, it seems like it does. Like,
well,
it'll hold 100 degrees for 2 days.
Yeah.
Not hot on the outside, though, whenever it's just sitting there. But with the charcoal in it and stuff, and it's cooking, it does get hot.
Yeah, it is hot to the touch. And so you do have to, depending on what temperature you're cooking at, you got to be careful if you've got little ones running around.
But you wouldn't be touching a grill.
But that's the same with any grill. Yeah. You know, the metal's going to be just as hot as the ceramic. So anyway, that is my crazy tech side of the big Green Egg.
Yeah, Green Eggs are awesome. They're so cool. And no matter, like Chad said, no matter which one you get, whether it's a Green Egg or Kamado Joe or whatever, they all use the ceramic and they all have their benefits and their downfalls compared to each other. But the one that I know, most of the people that I know use a big Green Egg. I know a few people that have used a Kamado Joe and they say it's basically the same. Yeah. So I think it's awesome. I think it's a good purchase. I think you're going to love it for a long time. And every time you cook on it, you're going to be like, dude, this is going to be the best meal I've made.
And so, so with the lifetime warranty, they pretty much warranty everything except for drops, using lighter fluid, and using charcoal briquettes.
Yeah.
If you don't do those three things, it's pretty much got a lifetime warranty. And so if you think about spending $250 every 5 years or so, and we're still in our 30s, we've got a lot of life left.
Yeah.
If it does last a lifetime, I've definitely saved money.
Well, my brother, he's got one, and he had the inner ring. The inner ring cracked.
Oh, his fire ring?
Yeah, the fire ring. It cracked. It's the only one I've ever heard of having this happen, but he uses his all the time.
Right.
And he basically just took it back into the store, and they gave him a brand new one.
Just gave it to him.
I was like, here you go. Here's the new one. And it's like, his was older than mine, so his was probably already 15 years old whenever when that thing happened. I don't remember what he was doing whenever it happened, but I think it was just the heat or something. I don't know. Maybe just a lot of use, but they just replaced it.
Yeah.
And the Green Egg's going to be around for a long time. I don't see that company going around because it's like kind of like notorious for that type of grill.
There's one other thing that's probably never going to happen to me. I'm never going to be 3/4 of the way done cooking hamburgers and run out of propane.
Right. That's a good thing.
And that's just charcoal versus
And the odds of you running out of charcoal mid-grill or mid-barbecue are very slim because once you have enough in there to get it started, you can keep it hot for such a long time.
Yeah.
So
it uses so little fuel, and the amount of ash it produces is also so little.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just like after I smoked the tri-tip, I let everything cool down, and I always like to look just to see. And like there's just this little, like I've got charcoal all spread out, and there's this little spot of gray in the middle where it burned, and like you could,
like, where did it go?
Yeah, like it just doesn't, briquettes, the whole thing catches on fire.
Yeah.
And with the charcoal and with keeping the temperature and all of that stuff, like it just doesn't spread and go crazy and waste all of your charcoal.
Yeah. It's definitely a cool grill. I feel like this Crazy Tech was a very Memorial Day weekend appropriate Crazy Tech.
This was Memorial Day Central.
I think we spent time outside.
Grills and mowers. God, my kids just love being outside.
Yeah.
I mean, they're May babies. We spent the summer outside last year.
Yeah.
And then I locked them up all winter.
So well.
And they got sick all the time. And they were just like, what is this, Dad? This is stupid. And now they get to be outside again.
They're like, yeah.
We went to Nana and Papa's yesterday, and they played in the pool.
Nice.
They've never been in a pool before.
Very cool.
They loved it. Biggest bathtub ever.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us. What do you think?
Yeah.
Got anything else?
Yeah, I have one other thing.
You have one other thing? Okay.
Yeah, so we discussed mowers today.
Yeah, we did.
We've discussed my mower in the past.
Yeah, we did.
Rusted through deck.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I put it out on the curb for my city's annual, we'll pick up anything you have that you don't want anymore.
Yeah.
Put it out there. They come by, and it doesn't get picked up.
Because I think you're mowing the yard with it.
I don't know. I don't know if that was it, but I even had neighbors that were like, a couple of days later, they were like, hey, what was the deal with your mower? And I was like, it was free.
Yeah.
I wanted to throw it in the trash, but anyone could have had it. I didn't care. I just wanted it to disappear. Mm-hmm. It didn't disappear.
Yeah.
Right? And so I take 2 pictures of it.
Yeah.
One fairly close up showing the ring of destruction.
Yeah.
And then one of like the model number. Like super zoomed in. I put it on Facebook. I put $20. I was gonna give it away for $0.
Now you're charging for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now $20.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I have 7 people respond like that.
That's so crazy.
And so I just went like, you're number 1, you're number 2, you're number 3, like down through there.
Yeah.
Number 3 goes, I'll give you $35 for it. And I was like, that's not how this works.
It doesn't work this way, buddy.
And so number 1 comes and gets it. I got $20 for my old busted mower. Do you know what he wanted it for, Mike?
What? No, let me guess. He wanted it for engine parts.
Because it's a Honda.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense to me.
Right.
He also had a Honda.
Okay.
The front 2 adjusters on his wheels were broken.
Yeah.
This was cheaper than ordering those 2 parts from Honda.
Oh man, that's so good. I bought a whole mower so I could get these 2 little adjusters. Yeah. But hey, you know what? He's got an engine now.
That's right.
So if he keeps that, he's got spare parts.
That's right.
That guy, well, as long as his deck doesn't rust through. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, $20.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I mean, good for him. He got his part he wanted. You got a little bit of money, and you got rid of your mower.
That's right. All the things
Facebook
I wanted.
Marketplace.
Thank you, Facebook Marketplace. That's the only time I'm going to say thanks, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, really. Probably wasn't his idea.
Smoked meats.
Smoked meats. Everybody get your smoked meats. Smoking meats here. Got some ribs. Got some brisket.
Got some brisket. Got some ribs.
Got some smoked meats here. Smoking meats.
Smoking meats.
When I smokes the meats,
then
I do it on the egg and I do it on the other grill. Smoking meats.
Smoking meats.
Oh, what a great video.
Oh, we digress.
Yes.
Hey everybody, thanks for spending your lunch with us. Mike, I think you should tell them where they can find us.
Okay. I don't think I can.
Okay, fine, I'll tell them. We have a website. It's LunchTimeTechTalk.com. You can browse show notes and listen to previous episodes.
It's fine. We're a magazine.
Subscribe. I mean, you do subscribe.
Saw you on the web.
Yeah, we saw you on the web. You can also read about us and see our pictures because I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook and an Instagram that's at Lunchtime Tech Talk. We have a Twitter page at Lunchtime Tech T1. Tweet. We've got a YouTube channel where you can listen to these episodes. You can't see our pretty faces, but you can listen.
Yep.
And you can also find us on Patreon. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at MSUMac. That's MSUMACC. Mike, where you at?
You can find me on Twitter, and that is going to be at run_bike_Mike. And you can find me on Instagram and YouTube at runbikemike.
And you can find us this weekend in Arkansas at the War Eagle Trail Run.
Yes. Hope to see you there.
Yeah, for real. If
And-
any of you happen to be there, come say hi.
Yeah. And if you don't know who we are, you can find our pictures on the website.
That's right. That's totally right.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.